All right, so here we are, and we are going to start lying down with the shoulders on the block and the feet in Baddha Konasana. Or if you think you might rather, you can just lie flat with the legs in Baddha Konasana. So the advantage is, just realized I forgot to do something. The advantage to lying flat is that you will get a little bit more opening in the hip joints, a little bit more with a little bit more intensity than when you're on the block. Or maybe it's just a different kind of intensity. I don't know. All right, nonetheless, here we are as we are. Arriving on our mat in our body with our breath. Inhaling and exhaling. Letting go of everything you can let go of for the next minute or two, which is hopefully most things. Feeling your body, feeling your breath. Mind is particularly restless. One thing you can do as you breathe in, you can simply think inside your mind, inhale. And as you breathe out, think exhale. And then we will take a few more breaths. We're taking a stretch overhead with the arms. And then as you're ready, gently making your way up to sitting. And we will sit in Sukhasana with the crossed legs. And then using those arms alongside, lengthening up or not. If this doesn't seem like a useful thing to you, if you're ready just to sit quietly, please do. And then finishing up with whatever you're doing there. And we'll let the hands rest on the knees, pouring down the sides of the neck off the tops of the shoulders. Both resting against the wall behind you and lengthening up the wall behind you. Letting everything be very simple. And then we will reach out wide through the collarbones, through the fingertips. And inhale and exhale, breathing the arms up. And inhale and exhale, breathing them down, feeling those shoulder blades moving on your back. Make the lift come all the way from the pelvic floor, all the way up the sides of the body and out the fingertips. Let's go once more. And then we will eagle pose the arms. So I'm being the mirror at the moment over here. We'll cross the right arm under, left arm over. Inhale and exhale. So if this is too much for the shoulders right away, you can always hold on to the shoulders. Breathing into that upper back, maybe a little adjustment up or down with the elbows, looking for a good spot. Let's tilt our head toward the right shoulder, left shoulder even heavier. And back to the center, tilting to the left. Feeling the right shoulder, especially going down, but both shoulders are getting a little heavier. Back to the center. And then we'll untwine the arms, big stretch out and around, and then just bring those arms forward and around. And let's change the cross of the legs. And we'll do that on the other side, stretching out, left arm crosses under. Inhale and exhale. Even though your shoulders might be being pulled up by the position, they can still be energetically going down. And then tilting the head to the left. Up to the center, up and over to the right. And center. One or two more deep breaths. And then untwining those arms and then taking a circle forward and around. And then coming forward and over, breathing into the back of the body. Inhale and exhale. And then coming up, unfurling that spine vertebrae by vertebrae, landing back on top of those sitting bones. Inhale and exhale. And then let's come up on all fours, doing a few cats and cows. And put a little forward and back in that if you want. And paying attention to how the hands are placed, how the arms are working there. What's the truth? You're probably going to want to go further back on your mat because we're going to do the extend the leg and lift the hover plank. All right, and then finishing with that cat and cow, and we will extend the left leg back, toes tucked under, pressing back into the heel. And then lifting the right knee up for the hover plank or not, and really stretching back through that left leg. Good, setting that right knee down. Let's switch sides, extending the right leg back, pressing back into the heel. And then lifting that left knee up, making that right leg work harder. And setting the left knee down. Take a little pull back in child's pose. Deep breath. And then coming up to downward facing dog. And walking the dog or anything else you want to do here. And then finding the best downward facing dog you can do at this moment. Nothing moving but the breath. And then let's see if we can go a little bit further. Let's come up on our tiptoes and really pull those kneecaps up with the thighs, really lifting up. And then keep all that feeling of lift as you reach the heels toward the floor. Trying to keep those legs a little bit more extended. And then pour down the backs of the legs out the heels again. And we'll look between the hands to jump or step forward. Into the concave back, halfway up. And folding over. Deep breath, extending through the legs. And coming up to standing. Big front body yawn. And pressing the arms down long through the top of the heads. All right, and breathing here to Tadasana, Namaste, steadiness. Reaching down through the feet, pulling up from those feet. And then a big inhale, lifting up. And exhale, diving over. Concave back, halfway up, folding over. We're going to step back with the left leg, so we're in our right lunge. Lengthen that out long from the top of the head out the left heel. You could just stay here, or if you want to put a little something extra, come up into the high lunge for a breath or two. And then coming down, and we'll bring that left knee down. We can keep the left hand on the floor too, as we twist to the right. So nice indulgent sort of a twist. And then let's circle that right arm around, big reach back, down and forward, up and over. And let's go once more. And then next time around, we'll pick up our left arm and come up in Anjayasana. So you can be square like that if you want to, or I like the longer version, but you can do what works better for you. And then Namaste in front and into the floor, stepping back to the plank. Because in the longer version, with our back leg on the diagonal rather than vertical, you get more stretch into the hip flexors. And then we'll go through the vinyasa, any version you want. Oh, good. Downward facing dog. And let's lift our right leg up. Reaching long through the heel and through to the lunge. And warrior one. So we're still on our right leg, warrior number one. And we'll scoop forward with the tailbone, up and over with the upper body. And then we'll bring the arms down, putting the hands on the thigh. Anywhere that it works for you. And we'll do that arm circling here. As we reach down and forward, up and over, press down with that left hand as you reach back, a little twist. And let's do that again. And then one more time, and we will pick up our left arm on the way. Back up to the warrior one. And namaste in front and into the floor, stepping forward. Into the concave back, halfway up. Folding over. Deep breath. Coming up to standing. Pressing the arms down long through the top of the head. And other side, coming over. And concave back, folding over, stepping back with the right leg. So you can hold this low lunge here, or maybe coming up into the high lunge for a few. And then coming down, right knee down, right hand on the floor. So I think especially for this circling, the wider might work better because you end up a little lower to the floor. But as I said, you can do the more square back leg if that works better for you. As we take a twist to the left, there we go. And then a big reach around. Down and forward, up and over, once more around. And then straightening up that right leg, stepping back to the plank, through the vinyasa, any version, downward facing dog. And we'll lift our left leg up. Through to the lunge. And warrior number one on the left. Scooping down and under, lifting up and over. And then we'll bring the arms down and onto that left thigh. They can be anywhere. They can even move if that's helpful. And we'll reach down and forward, up and over. Now, no need to be in a rush, feeling every moment here. Let's see, that was 2 around, and then we have the third one around is picking up the right arm and coming back up, warrior 1. Namaste in front, and namaste into the floor to step forward. Into that concave back, folding over. Deep breath. Coming up to standing, big front body yawn. Pressing the arms down. Let's come all the way around to namaste. And then let's take a tree pose. Let's just see what happens. So maybe you're going to go for the balance challenge. Maybe you're going to go for steadiness. That would be me. All right, let's see. We're moving somewhere off the mat. Take a moment, arrive back in your Tadasana. And then bringing the right leg up. And even if you weren't lying flat on the floor at the beginning of class, there's still that sense of that very level sacrum and that right knee going to whatever diagonal it can with that sacrum staying nice and steady. Pull the abdominal muscles in and up. And we'll take 5 or 6 breaths here. And as you bring that right leg down, really feel the foot come to the floor, that little adjustment as the weight shifts back onto 2 feet. And we'll go to the other side. Standing leg parallel. The leg rotated out. That's one thing that makes this a little difficult. Our legs are doing opposite things in hips. Wide and flat across the sacrum. Lifting in and up from the abdominal muscles. And bringing that left leg down, shifting back onto the 2 feet. Inhale and exhale. Especially if you're like me, who I get really annoyed when I don't balance well. It's okay. We're going to do some more tree poses later. Let's stand at the front of the mat. And we'll circle the shoulders and interlock the fingers. I had somebody who got even more angry than I did, a student for a while, and she would walk out the door. Wow. Well, you know, that was Iyengar days. We were excessive then. We cried, we had tantrums, the teacher hit us, you know. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding about that. Let's be here with the interlocked fingers. They were just very strict. So let's lengthen up to lift the chest, to lift the chin. And pressing out through the hands, coming over. And release the hands. Concave back, folding over. And jumping or stepping back, vinyasa or not, downward facing dog. Good. And let's lift that right leg up. And dog at the high fire hydrant, kind of like tree pose up there, as it were.
at least between the inner thighs, with our parallel left leg and our right thigh going out, but we're twisting the pelvis. Let's circle that right knee. Move forward, out to the side, all the way back up and over to that fire hydrant dog. 3 more times. And then finishing with that, and through to the lunge, and we will come up in the warrior number 2. Oop. Oh well, people at home. There we go. Centering the knee over the foot, reaching from that inner thigh, reaching back through the left inner thigh as well. Dancing warrior. And then keeping the side bend, straightening the right leg. Pulling up, and then maybe a little more up and over with the torso. Spacing your left side. We're going back to the warrior 2 from here. Keep the side bend. And really pull from that right inner knee out the right fingertips. And then into the triangle. And a big reach around with that left arm coming down to the lunge. Let's swoop our right leg back up behind. You can always step to downward facing dog and lift it if things are awkward. Hover plank, knee forward. Figure 4 dog. Crossing that right leg over, pressing into the shin against the left thigh. And then just stepping forward and stepping forward to the forward bend. Concave back, folding over, and coming up to standing. Big front body yawn. And pressing the arms down. Oh, Secret Santa just came in the door. And let's interlock the fingers, rolling the shoulders out, lifting the chest to lift the chin. So lift the chest first, so don't lift the chin too much. Lift the chest and pull the chin a little back and in. So you don't want to lift it by pushing the chin forward. So pull the chin a little bit more back and in. Yeah, there we go. Oh, could you feel that difference? And then coming over. Release the hands. Concave back, folding over. Vinyasa, downward facing dog. So I can show it here, I think. So sometimes when we want to extend the chin, we push forward like this. In yoga, though, you want it to go a little back and then up, not out here in that chin forwardness. One of those little details. It can be really hard to feel that and realize when you're doing it. So anyway, let's lift our left leg up. And dog at the high fire height. And then we'll circle that left leg, knee forward, side and around. 4 times all together. So we did 1, And now we're on 2 and 2 more. And then through to the lunge. And warrior number 2. Breathing here. Really extend that back leg. Pull that knee up. Yeah, so there's a little feeling almost like that right thigh is pressing back, your body back, which would be toward the rope wall here in the studio. And the more that right leg extends, the more challenging it is to keep pulling into the lunge with the front leg. And level up that back arm, and then dancing warrior. Inhale and exhale up and over. So you really want to feel up and over, not crush down the right side. And then straighten that left leg, pulling with the left hand. And then we're going back to the warrior 2, pulling with the side bend still. So we stayed with the left arm in the side bend as we pull back to the warrior 2. And then into the triangle trikonasana. There's always time to go back and redo and come back in. Keep staying there in that triangle. Breathing into the center, radiating out. And then just coming down to the lunge. And picking that left leg up, swooping it up behind you in 3-legged dog. And then hover plank knee forward. Figure 4 dog. And stepping forward and stepping forward to the forward bend, concave back, and folding over. Coming up to standing, big front body yawn. And pressing those arms down all the way around to Namaste. And let's tree pose again. Maybe picking up the left leg first this time. Just to see, sometimes one things we think are the, oh, my right side is like this and my left side is like that. It's actually the first side is like this and the second side is like that. So trying to get those toes going straight down the leg. So the toes have to pull back, and then that gluteus maximus has to engage a little more to keep the hip from going back. Good. So it's like locking things in place into a parallel plane there across the pelvis. And then bring that left leg down, stand on 2 feet, feel that little shift and adjust. And then we'll go to the other side. Bring that right leg up. Yes, so what I was talking about is sometimes our toes go forward and our heel goes back. And that's a really good way to get a nice drop in under with the hip. But then we let go with the muscles. So we try to press the foot really to parallel straight down with that. Then we have to engage that gluteus maximus a little more, and it's going to actually stretch a little more into the hip joint. And then we'll put that right leg down, standing on the 2 feet. That's almost the hardest moment. So urge to like step aside or do something else. All right, and then here we are back at the front of the mat. As if we had been here all along, taking a breath. And a big inhale up. And exhale, coming over. Deep breath. Utkatasana, the chair pose. Pull a little more back into the hips. And then let's twist to the right. Nice wide arms. So we're going to stay with the wide arms here. And find that twist from the belly, the waist, the ribs, the shoulders. And we're going to press the right arm back, and the right arm is going to circle around, and we're going to come right back up to standing into the front body. One. And diving back over. And Utkatasana, the chair pose, sitting back. So try not to scrunch that upper body. Pull the shoulder blades back, maybe lower the arms, even for a moment. That sometimes helps get that upper back in place. And then, try to lift them again. Let's twist to the left. In Utkatasana, it's easy not to notice how much hard work that upper back has to do because we've got the legs, the thighs, the gluteus maximus and all, but that upper back is working really hard. All right, and let's swoop our left arm around. It picks up the right. We straighten the legs. And a big front body yawn. And coming forward, straight leg forward back. Let's do that again, not quite as lingeringly. And then Utkatasana. So the arms lift, but then it's the upper back that pulls the arms. And twisting to the right. Big reach around with the right arm to swoop yourself back up to standing. Front body yawn and diving over. Last time, Utkatasana. Twisting left. And a big reach around with the left arm, coming back up to standing. Big front body yawn. And diving over. And this time we will continue onwards with the concave back, folding over, vinyasa, downward facing dog. Breathing. And then let's lift the right leg up. Through to the lunge.
Warrior number 2 again. And thigh to end, their knee, little press back feeling. So try to, if you're doing that press back feeling with the left leg, try not to do it with the knee joint jamming, which I just did a good bad example. But think of the thigh itself pressing back. And then let's reach out to the side and bow. Bringing that left arm over the ear. Arming up to straight. Turning the feet to parallel. We lift up and coming forward and over. Prasarita Padottanasana. And then let's turn back to our right lunge. And as we did before, we're going to swoop it up behind us in three-legged dog. Take a breath or two here, really stretching into our three-legged dog. And then we will make our way to the figure 4 dog again. Hover plank and then hinging back. And then really holding that right leg against the left in the figure 4. Missed that part? Backwards. And then coming forward to the figure 4 plank. Oh, so try not to let that right knee go toward the floor. And then we'll sort of upward facing dog, and we'll start kind of sliding out onto the floor. Slide the right knee sideways, and then we're in a sort of lying down, tree pose. There we go. So it's not like the pigeon, and you're trying to get your foot, and then once you're down there, you can get more organized. See if you can get your right foot onto that left inner thigh, or maybe somewhere near the knee. And reaching the right knee out to the side, and your hips might be all crooked. There we go. And we just had to do something really weird today. So bring your right shin back more down. Yeah, and then let it roll onto the inside of the leg. A little more, yeah. So it's like the tree pose lying on your stomach. Okay. It's kind of a funny stretch. And then we're here in, or wherever we happen to be, in the Sphinx, or maybe down lower, and then doing a little Sphinx action, or maybe it's a small cobra action, or maybe it's just a lengthen along the floor and wonder what we're doing action. And then we'll slide our right leg down next to the left as we come back onto our 2 feet with great relief. And into that Sphinx, or with the cobra if you're doing that. Evening things out. And then let's bend the knees and get hold of the ankles and do the both pose. And calming down. Deep breath or 2. And then we will make our way back to downward facing dog through another vinyasa or not. So one thing, now this is not necessarily something true for you with that lying down tree pose. When I first came across it in the class I was taking, couldn't figure out what it was. It seemed way too hard, couldn't do it. And I realized the problem was it was actually a lot simpler in a way than I thought. So, but that does not mean that would be your experience, but it's something to consider. Sometimes something seems so complicated because it's really simple and we're assuming it's complicated. So let's lift our left leg up. Keep those arms nice and steady. Through to the lunge. And warrior number 2 on the left. Arriving here, seeing what that back leg is doing. Now, it might be because of your hips and things, maybe that straightening that back leg is just not going to be a thing that works. It's going to pull you up too much or something. So just noticing that, and just like if you're forward bending with bent knees, you can still do that extend, even if it doesn't get to 100% straight. And let's go to the side angle. Any sort of version you want. And reaching the right arm over the ear, nice long diagonal. Here's our upper back working a lot again. Good, reaching back with that right arm, coming up, turning the feet to parallel. And let's come forward. I don't think we did anything fancy about that coming forward. Breathing here. And then let's turn to the left lunge. And we will swoop that left leg up behind us into three-legged dog. And then let's take a few breaths here. So draw the upper arms toward each other, especially the right arm likes to get, the opposite arm of the leg lifted likes to get a little soggy and noodly. So really reach through that right arm. And then hover plank knee forward. Figure 4 dog. So here in the figure 4 dog, feel how that left knee is essentially pulling sideways. Rather than having a little diagonal forward, which would be more like the pigeon pose, it's trying to pull kind of straight out to the side-ish. As we come forward to figure 4 plank, and then really pressing up with that left outer knee, trying not to let it sag to the floor. And then we'll sort of upward facing dog ourselves and then slide that knee out to the side. So don't bring it forward. So my left thigh is either at 90 degrees straight here or a little bit back rather than a little forward. So it's the opposite of the pigeon in that. As you gracefully make your way down. And one hip is probably tighter than the other. This is not my less tight side, indeed. And then see if you can connect the sole of the foot to that right inner thigh, a little reaching through the right leg. Taking a few breaths, either Sphinx or Cobra, or maybe flat on the floor. Just kind of feeling where you are. So if you can see your screen there, you can see how my pelvis is not a level pelvis. It has to do with the flexibility of your hip joints. But now we have gravity pulling from a different direction. Usually in this sort of a shape, we have gravity
We're lying on the back, Supta Baddha Konasana. Gravity is pulling from the front to the back. And now it's pulling from the back to the front. And let's slide that left leg out to meet the right. That's also a lot like the frog pose, the one where you take the thighs out to the side. You come from super wide, child's pose, from super wide child's pose. Anyway, here we are in the Sphinx right now. Reaching back through the toes. So let's just make that shape once more from here. Pulling that right knee to the side, sliding the foot up the inside of the thigh, left thigh, and then maybe a little bit more reach out to the side of the right. There we go. Yeah. And sliding that leg down, almost like we were just standing. And then sliding that left leg up, or if you're like me on this side, I have to roll a lot over to the right side to get the leg there. And then sort of reach through the left knee, getting that pelvis as level as it can go. And we'll slide the left leg back down. Even things out. If your upper body's getting tired, maybe coming down for a moment, and then we'll do our boat pose. And so as you're ready, bending the legs, getting hold of the ankle. Something almost completely different. And letting that go. And then let's peel ourselves up and around and down onto the floor on our back. And just take a few moments arriving here. And let's walk the feet out toward the edge of the mat a little bit wide. Arms out to the side from the shoulders, and we'll drop the knees over to the left. So I'm not being the mirror here, but it's not going to matter. We're doing one side and then the other. Dropping the knees over. So the right leg should not touch the left leg. There should be space there. And this does a little more inner rotation of that right, whatever leg's on top hip joint, rather than such a big twist in the back and the spine, which is what you get when the legs are closer together and stacked on one another. And then through the center, over to the other side. And back to the center. And then let's try the other version, bringing those legs together. If you want to go for even more intensity there, with it, you can cross the right thigh over the left in kind of an eagle pose legs as we drop the knees to the left once more, with the legs stacked or maybe wrapped around each other. So you can probably feel how this is a little bit more twist through the spine as well. A little more stretch perhaps on the outer right leg, but not quite as much inner rotation. And coming back to the center, we'll go to the other side. Stacking the legs or crossing the left and then we will make our way back to the center. As usual, well, we've probably got 2 minutes at least for Shavasana, sliding those legs out, giving them a little shake. Inhale and exhale, just letting yourself melt into the floor. And breathing back into your body, moving the fingers and toes, maybe circling the wrists and ankles, stretching the arms up overhead. Bending your knees, so taking your time, don't need to move as fast as I'm talking. And eventually we will all be making our way up to sitting. And sitting in any comfortable position with that long and spacious spine. Taking a few more moments, sitting quietly inside yourself.
Namaste. Thank you for coming. Let's see, where is the mouse? There it is.
Thank you, Anne.
Thank you.